Hey, it's Matt, your average gamer, and this was the next build that I wanted to put up on my channel. This is a one-hit Giants Crusher build. This is the type of build where you can just do massive damage because we're boosting a weapon that has incredibly high AR. So the Giants Crusher you're going to get in the Atlas Plateau. It's not too bad to get. It's in a carriage. It's kind of near, I think the Outer Wall Phantom Tree might be the closest grace. I'm not sure off the top of my head, but it's somewhere up over there. And there's an ulcerated tree spirit that guards it. But it has probably one, if not the highest AR in the entire game of Elden Ring. So I figured what would happen if I take this weapon and buff it to extreme measures. Now, obviously, this has been done several different ways and on many different videos now. But for me personally, I wanted to take the Giants Crusher and do my own buffing system that I personally was comfortable with and then kind of share it with you guys. And I think I did in the end. You're going to see what I came up with. I think I came up with a way to buff the Giants Crusher into one-hitting most of the bosses, or many bosses. This is in Journey 4, by the way, so they all have more HP, in a manner that's like, in a way that's not too difficult to understand, and to where a lot of the buffs don't run out, and there's room for failure, of course, but we're just going to do massive damage all the time. I mean, geez, even if you don't one-hit them, you're going to be two-hitting stuff. And again, this is Journey 4, so everything has a ton of more HP. And as you get to the later journeys, that's kind of what happens in the end. You end up having a lot of bosses that, especially early on, and some of the real late game ones too, that just are at that threshold where you have a really hard time. Like I did try the fire giant, for example, and I had to hit him 4 times, 2 for the first phase and 2 for the second. Wasn't too happy with that overall, but that's just how it worked out in the end. He had 50,000 health. He starts with, I think, 42 or 43 on base game. So as you can tell here, we're doing massive damage. I'm going to show all of my equipment and everything you'll need really shortly. But the whole point of this is to use the charged attack, or the unique R2, on the Giants Crusher and basically buff the hell out of it. And we're using Royal Knight's Resolve. Royal Knight's Resolve is the best one because it boosts the next physical attack by 80%. And if you add up all the other additional buffs and boosts we can do, by the way, Morgott killed me, but we did a ton of damage, it stacks pretty great. So the first thing you're going to use is the Black Dumpling. We're going to put that hat on and we're going to proc Madness and start procking our health down for the low HP Talisman. We want to have that extra 10% for a minute that you get from the Madness crown, or Madness hat rather. And then we're going to switch out to the Mushroom crown. We want to use Golden Vow, drink our flask, and take Bloodboil Aromatic. But if you're not using Bloodboil Aromatic, the other body buff alternatives are Howl of Shabriri and then Flame Grant Me Strength. But all 3 of those ones override each other, so you want to typically just use one of those 3. Otherwise, they'll just override one another. Flame would be 20%. Howl would be 25 for physical, and then Bloodboil Aromatic is the most at 30%, but the leaves that you need for it and all of the stuff that you need for it is kind of annoying to farm, and they are kind of limited. I'm on Xbox, so I have to farm everything, and yeah, the Arteria leaves, or however you say it, definitely a pain to get those. So we're using the Giants Crusher. We have the Giants seal. We have the shield that boost attack when your HP is low, and then we have Lord of Bloods. We have the low HP Talisman as well, the Axe Talisman, Kindred of Rot's Exultation, the Mushroom Crown, and Fetid Pots and Boluses to proc poison on us and to give us an additional boost in damage. So these are the stats at 150. I kind of ran through most of the entire game with only 14 or 15 vigor rather, and we had 99 strength because the Giant Crusher rather, it scales purely with strength, especially when you're using it in heavy like I am, which is your best bet. It's a pretty much strengthly only weapon. So yeah, you want to have 99 strength, or at least at minimum I would say 80, because the hard caps in this game are really high, but I prefer just to get that to 99, and those were my 150 stats. So as you can tell here, we change it up a little bit different for trees. You want to use Flame Grant Me, and you want to use the Fire Crusher for the trees because they take additional fire damage. And if you're going to try this out for a first time, one key recommendation that I have for you, try it on the tree avatars first. They take additional fire damage, and with the amount of fire damage you can do, including fire buffs, which you can also swap out and not need Lord of Bloods, and you can swap that out for the Fire Scorpion charm, it's a lot easier to do these guys, to beat these guys, to just one-hit them and crush them than it is, you know, per se, like a Gargoyle or the Magma Worm, which is just a lot more complicated because you need pure strength. In this, you just need fire damage, and it is a lot easier. It's a lot more comforting, and it's not really bad at all. So I hope this video helped. I hope this helps you one-hit stuff like I did. I'm going to leave everything in the description below. The entire build, the steps that you'll need, all that stuff will be written down there. And yeah, you can one-hit a ton of stuff. And this is on Journey 4, so this was pretty awesome. Thanks for watching. Be sure to sub, and there's a lot more great content and builds on the way. Catch you there.